Hello everyone, today we're going to explore something pretty cool. How corn, yes, regular corn you'd find on a farm, can be turned into ethanol, a type of biofuel that can power cars. And here's the twist, the process has a lot in common with how your cells make energy through cellular respiration. So it all starts with the corn kernel. Inside each kernel is starch, a complex carbohydrate made up of long chains of glucose molecules. Think of starch as a stored chemical energy, originally captured from sunlight through photosynthesis. The first step in making ethanol is to release that stored sugar. To do that, the corn kernels are ground into a fine meal and mixed with water to form a thick mash. Enzymes are added to break down the starch into glucose, a simple sugar that yeast can digest. This step is called saccharification. Next comes the key step, fermentation. The mash is transferred into a large fermentation tank, and yeast, tiny single-celled organisms, are added. These yeast cells consume the glucose, but here's where things get interesting. Instead of using oxygen like we do in our cells, the yeast carry out anaerobic respiration, also known as fermentation. Through glycolysis, the yeast break down glucose into pyruvate, releasing a small amount of energy in the form of ATP. Now, in human cells, if oxygen is available, that pyruvate would head into mitochondria, where it's further broken down through the Krebs cycle and the electron transport chain, producing a lot more ATP. But in yeast, when there's no oxygen, the process stops early. The pyruvate is converted into ethanol and carbon dioxide. The overall chemical reaction looks like this. That is one molecule of glucose turning into 2 molecules of ethanol, 2 molecules of carbon dioxide, and a small amount of energy. After fermentation, the mixture still contains solids, water, and ethanol. To separate the ethanol, it's distilled. Basically, it's heated up so the ethanol evaporates and it's collected as a purified liquid fuel. This ethanol can then be blended into gasoline and used to power vehicles. So in a sense, the same basic chemistry that powers your body is also used to power cars, just through different pathways. Here's how it all connects. Both yeast and human cells start with glycolysis, breaking down glucose into pyruvate. Both of them release small amounts of ATP, the energy currency of life. But yeast, lacking oxygen, produces ethanol and CO2. Human cells, using oxygen, produce carbon dioxide, water, and lots of ATP. So the process of making ethanol from corn is like capturing a piece of cellular respiration and turning it into fuel for engines instead of cells. And that's the story, from cornfields to fuel tanks, and from glucose to energy. It's all connected to the same fundamental biochemistry that keeps life, and now technology, running.